Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Meg on the Mic. I almost said the old name because we just recently changed the name of this podcast. It used to be Fresh Daily Megs. I'm still getting used to it, but with a new revamp, we got to have a new guest on. So I have the lovely KYSRE GONDREZICK next to me. KYSRE, do you want to introduce yourself?
I mean, it's your girl KYSRE, and I'm on set. Like, what's up?
Yes. Do you want to shout out your social medias before we get started?
Yeah, my social media accounts are KYSRE, KYSRERAE. On all platforms.
On all platforms. Mm-hmm. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all the things.
Yes.
What kind of content do you mainly do?
I'm working on that. I'm trying to work on being more social, engaged with my fan base and my following. But, if I feel cute or if I pop out somewhere, I'll just repost a picture. Yeah. But I'm working on it.
You're working on it. Yeah. Okay. So, your main thing is basketball. So you've been a basketball player all your life, or when did that start? Can you tell me a little bit about the beginning of the journey?
I've, been playing basketball since I've been out the womb. I come from a basketball heritage, with my lineage of my father, my mom, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, so it was kind of destined for me to play. Obviously, I've been able to accomplish and get to the highest level, of women's basketball, which I'm definitely grateful and humbled for. But it's definitely been able to take care of some opportunities, paying for college, getting my degree, and ultimately taking me to amazing places and building wonderful relationships.
I mean, that's absolutely amazing. We'll dive more into it. But you said you come from a lineage of basketball, and I'm sure a lot of people know that beforehand. But do you have any advice that you were given as a young woman that really kind of shaped and morphed your career as you got older?
No advice. It was just my father telling me this is what you're doing, and that's just what it was.
He put a ball in your hands, and he was like, just bounce it and throw it, and you're good to go.
Basically, to sum it up, that's how it went.
I just went to actually my first WNBA game.
How was that?
It was electric. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. So I love the Liberty. Sabrina was super cool to see in person. They were playing the Lynx, and it was just, I got lucky enough to have a really good seat, so I got to really be in front of all the action. And I've never been to an NBA game that was as electric as a WNBA game. Yeah. It was insane. People were standing the entire time. They had to actually push us back. They're like, you are getting too close to the court and the players. So they're like, everyone get back and sit down. And it was amazing. It was just such a positive atmosphere. And I feel like at NBA games, it can get a little more heckly. Yeah. And in the WNBA, it was just such an arena of support. And although, they even if they were down, people were still just going crazy. So I love that. And, you've seen the transition of women's sports, from when we were younger, because we're around the same age, how it went from having kind of a more negative tone and response on, media and news outlets to now being pretty much the pinnacle of what it has, what basketball is today. When you talk about basketball, you can't not talk about women's basketball.
Absolutely.
It's so amazing. And I love that the public opinion has swayed. So what have you seen transition from when you were older and the response? Have you ever experienced kind of that negativity, that negative response to women's basketball compared to now? Because now you can't even talk bad on women's basketball. All the hecklers out there. It's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've had my fair share, both individually and collaboratively, with the women's game. But I think that right now it's an exciting time. And that, the young, girls that are coming up after us definitely have a lot to look forward to versus, kind of like my generation, it was kind of the unknown, but you were just really passionate to play and wanted to get to the highest level and be able to experience that, the fruits of your labor and your hard work. But definitely right now, I think it's the pinnacle of, basketball in general and what the women have done for our game. And then when you implement social media now, that type of content, I think women are just naturally more gifted in other areas than their male counterpart, that we can kind of, be able to flourish in those areas now with the implementation of social media and these other media outlets as well. So I think now just being able to have it come to full circle and see, the women in our league benefit off of it, it's an exciting time, and I'm excited to see where the future goes with women's basketball.
You spoke on social media. What's different, today with the pressure of being a young woman in sports and having these platforms available to all of us? Do you think it really takes a toll on the mental health of these athletes? Do you think, what's the positive side of it? What's the negative side of it?
Yeah, it definitely has its pros and cons. One of the things that I will say now, more than ever, it's hitting now in our youth a lot more sooner than it did back in the day. And so it obviously comes with a level of maturity, but also, some grace. And I think that, the girls in, women's basketball are doing a very good job in managing that. And they're building teams around them now that they have accessible in order to have people instruct and lead them to, to what it is that they want to do and accomplish, and to be able to balance that. And if anything, I think that it opens up the gateway to experience and to value the importance of mental health at an earlier age than rather experiencing it when you're at your, highest level possible. So it depends on the way that you look at it.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it can be a lot more beneficial than it's stifling someone's success, as long as they have the right people around them and the right mindset to attack it.
Yeah, for sure. I know that's the hard thing, is that you're really putting yourself on a pedestal, and it can either really help you or harm you. And I think just having the right people to kind of check you and keep you in place when it comes to, responding to the public, responding to your audience. When people come at you when there's like a new trade or when you switch teams and stuff like that, it's very important to have the right responses and the right reactions to things like that. When it comes to, yourself, what do people not know about you?
A lot. Everything.
You keep yourself fairly private, you said, or really private. So, I mean, it's good to hold things close to yourself, but is there anything that, people really don't know besides, basketball, beauty, fashion, all the amazing accolades that you have?
Everything. I mean, I wish I could sit here, and touch base on it, but, I'm a very deep and intrinsic person, have my own mysterious ways about myself. And I've kind of just learned how to be a public figure and allow myself to not carry the weight of the responsibilities of what people's perception of me are.
Yes.
And when I've been able to kind of magnify and highlight and balance that, it gives me absolute permission to be able to unapologetically experience myself with my inner circle, and keep that balance. One thing that I will say, in terms of what people don't know about me, I am very serene and tapped into myself. And maybe people see that through my aura and my light.
I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it.
I literally stress and put in the work, and am so eager to attack every day with how am I going to be better as a woman.
Yes.
Womanhood is like serious business to me right now.
Yep.
And I'm basing everything off of that. I take a lot of pride in the way that I want to carry myself, how I want to look, how I want to walk, how I want to talk, how I want to think as a woman, and obviously when my name is associated with others in my circle, I take great pride in knowing that I'm a representation of them as well. But there's so many facets to me that people don't know, that, I hope they just see through my light and be able to get access through that. But some things, there's power in privacy.
There definitely
is.
I'm a fan of the privacy as much as I can, even though I literally talk to a mic and overshare every week. But I understand. But it's funny you say that, because I felt that the second you walked in. So all this work you're putting into yourself, I definitely feel it. As someone who's just met you today, like I can sense the calm. I can sense, the femininity and the way you embrace yourself and the way you even carry yourself. I mean, you definitely, everyone felt it when you walked in the room. So that's absolutely amazing. Do you have any advice for young women and young women in sports? Ooh.
I've spent a lot of time with myself, and I think that ultimately I haven't been able to get to this space if it hasn't been the journey that I've been on, and being a public figure and being exposed,
Which sometimes you don't have a choice to.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
But I'm a firm believer. I ask God to use me all the time. And, I was unaware that came through the cost of being exposed, so that when he does restore me, that people, look at me and know that I am a testament, of him, you know, and he still gives me room to be able to fulfill the desires of my own heart. But I did ask for these things. And so in knowing that, I just think that it's important, for every young girl as they embark upon their journeys to continue to check in with themselves, especially with social media now. I've made the mistake thinking that I needed to look a certain way or be someone else or carry myself a certain way, but there's a sexiness, there's a, in your aura and how you carry yourself, you know, and that mystery. If anything, I think it's allowed me to discover myself through my journey, being exposed the way that I have been, because the exposure of what I've gotten was a false narrative of who I actually am on a daily basis, which I think is just so important, for girls moving forward to prioritize themselves and to speak positive to yourselves, because we are the prize, we're the trophies.
We are the trophies. I love that you spoke on just kind of, the way we're represented and wanting to maybe look a different way or just change ourselves, whether that be appearance, character. It's amazing how, like, we feel, not amazing, but it's crazy how we're kind of under a microscope a lot more than men are. And so we really have to combat that when it comes to the media and platforms and whatnot and the public eye, because you could do the same thing as the male next to you, but people are going to say things 10 times worse than the male. And so we really have to carry ourselves with honesty and with grace and with gratitude, because we're the ones that are just much stronger. In my humble opinion, it's not easy out there, and you really do have to combat all the things in life with such grace, and it does really good for yourself as well, to really know how you want to respond to things. And as I've gotten older, I've learned how to do that, because when I was younger, I definitely did not. I was a little bit of a fighter when I was younger. But it's so crazy, as you get older, you start to learn how to carry yourself. And I think now finally that my frontal lobe has formed, even though I'm not going to excuse it to that. I'm learning stuff like that every day. So I love you saying that, because I'm like, this is what I'm just starting to get on that train of really being in tune with myself.
And you don't think about it, until you get older and you take a look back, life, life never makes sense moving forward, but it always makes sense when you look back at it, and understanding, who we are as women and being in the position that we are, and obviously, in the women's game of, basketball, you have a lot of young girls that look up to us. And when you look back at your journey and how you carried yourself, understanding the level of impact that you have had, bigger than just you, but the representation of women who want to be in your shoes. So just being mindful of what that looks like, what you want that to look like, because, we are definitely, crafted to be beautiful and wonderfully made creatures, but that doesn't mean that has to come at the exposure and expense of trying to sell that more than our brand, because our crafts already speaks volume within itself. And that's just something that I've learned and take a great deal in pride in.
It's a matter of young girls going on there and seeing people who still have not yet grown, like they're probably maybe 21, still don't have their frontal lobe formed, still kind of making decisions that may be a little more rash and harsh, and not in tune with like their own morals and values. And so young girls see that, and then we all eventually learn one day, like, okay, maybe if I look back, I'm not going to love the way I represented myself. So that's something that like I'm seeing nowadays is a lot of people are moving more towards this era of embracing your feminine and not really doing things that are catered to the male gaze perhaps, which I feel like is a lot of what the media is doing. So I love that you're standing true in yourself and who you are and your values and morals. Like I can sense that through you. Oh my goodness. Like I'm this is a therapy session for me today.
I had a feeling it would get there.
I knew. Cause you know what? We like I told you, we used to do a lot more like silly content on here, but it's so good to have a good deep conversation. Yeah. Sometimes it really feels.
I'm a very deep person.
Yes.
So
it's like a mind that I have to unlock, but we're getting bits and pieces of it. We're getting pieces of gold here, guys. We'll tailor it back to basketball. Can you give me your welcome to the WNBA moment? Yeah. That's one of my classic questions, so I always get that confused.
Oh no, and I have a classic story. It's funny. Because the moment that question is asked, I literally think about the moment. And I remember, obviously, I was drafted to Indiana, and my teammate was Tiara McCowan at the time. Stop. Yes, love her, love her. But she set a screen on me in practice and knocked the entire right side of all of my lashes off. And I remember looking down in my hand, and all my lashes were there.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious.
Lash extensions?
Luckily, they were lash extensions. I mean, obviously, you see I don't have them anymore.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make sure they weren't your real lashes. Yeah, I was like, I hope they didn't get like pulled out.
That was my moment where I'm just like, holy cow. Like, these screens are a little bit different, you know? But that was definitely my welcome to the W moment. And I think that is about as classical as it can get.
Absolutely. I think every rookie has like that story where they're like that was my rookie moment a little bit. Do you have one that's a little more like lashes on, feeling good, like great game moment, anything like that?
Yeah, I would definitely probably say my first game. We played New York Liberty, you know, at Barclays Arena. And coach put me in first quarter, and I came out and hit like I think my first 2 shots. I came in, did like attacked the basket, did a pump fake layup. Then I was like, okay, that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
then beginning of the second quarter, coach drew up a play, you know, because they know I'm a shooter, and came off the screen and like shot it and didn't even touch the rim. And I'm just like, I can't believe I just did that.
No,
like,
it's okay.
You know, like, so I definitely had some really good, you know, moments my rookie year. It was a balance of both, you know. When I think about who's the hardest player I've ever had to guard, it was my teammate at the time, Kelsey Mitchell.
Really?
She would absolutely destroy me in practice. Like the first couple of weeks, like I did not want to be on an island.
Yeah.
Like with her.
It's your own people.
There was nothing I could do. But, you know, I think at the time she was like top 5 in the league scoring. And, you know, I think she's still one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
But learning how to be able to guard her, defend her, coming off of screens, you know, as Tierra McCowan and what have you, definitely kind of gave me the idea and the experience of now knowing what I needed to do as a professional in order to sustain here and to get another opportunity.
You're like, this is what I got to live up to here. Because when you're so young, it's always, you got to look up to those vets, and like they kind of show you the ropes, but then they also they humble you a little bit.
Oh yeah, basketball, like when you look at it, it's like basketball's basketball. Like I know the game, have a very high IQ, but then when you get out there, you're like, you're a lot bigger than I thought. The speed is a lot faster, but it's definitely a learning curve. I think everyone embarks upon as they make that transition.
Absolutely. I mean, that must be so crazy to go to that national, that professional level. I'll never get there. I got cut from my 5th grade basketball team, so
it's okay. I've been cut a few times.
Okay, that makes me feel good because I cried for like 3 days and I don't let it go. That's actually why. That's why I wanted to get started in sports. I was like, I'm gonna avenge 10-year-old Megan, and I'm gonna do something amazing and have my full circle moment. Can you go back to a full circle moment that you may have had?
Just overall or in the W?
Let's do overall.
Oof. Overall. I think I think probably when I got drafted, that was a shocker for me.
Yeah.
Because of everything that occurred right before that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I lost my father unexpectedly, probably about like a month and a half before I got drafted, and I just kept going.
You just kept going?
I just kept going. Like, I just showed up the next day, played, just kept going, and just was just numb, like, the rest of the season, and, like, no one knew, and I ended up like resulting into an All-American, Naismith, just all these things. Everything was just happening for me. And finally, once when the season was over, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break. Boom, 4th pick, my name is called, and I'm just screaming. I'm like, okay, gotta keep going, just keep going, just keep. Yeah, but like looking at that moment was a very pinnacle moment for me, because I think that getting able to embark upon that path allowed me to prioritize mental health and choose myself, but also realize who I am capable of being when I push myself to a certain limit, and being able to find the balance, you know, in that. But it was pretty surreal, you know.
I mean, that's an insane thing to overcome in the midst of being a young woman trying to just start her career at the time.
Yeah, it was a lot, and then of course, you know, being the face of Adidas at the time, and just being introduced to the world the way that I was. No one saw the trauma. They only just saw the treasure, you know.
So that wasn't like publicized in any way. So this was something you were dealing with personally?
It was publicized, but I think the way that I carried it, you know, so I said just me being a private person, I've definitely lived a double life of how I wanted to portray myself to the world and who I was behind closed doors. So I don't think that it really got magnified to the height of, you know, how traumatic the situation was because of the way that I handled it.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, no,
like,
for sure.
Like, you know.
I'm sorry to hear that. I was aware of the situation. I didn't want to obviously bring that up.
It's
but
okay.
now that you do you feel that having this double life, you know, kind of having the person that you're putting out to the public and then dealing with it in private, were you protecting yourself in a way?
Absolutely. Because once when I got introduced to the world the way in which I did, I thought that that's what people wanted to see. Now, as you know, as expressed before, I don't carry the weight of that responsibility anymore. You know, and it's just like, this is who I am. And so, you know, obviously being able to get back into the W this past season, everyone saw like a rebirth and a rebrand of KYSRE from the last time they heard of what KYSRE was going through when she was in the media, you know. And I think for them just being able to see that like that, you know, it was kind of, you know, maybe hard for people to adjust, but also appreciate just the space that I'm in now because of what they had access to and what they known KYSRE to be when she first got introduced, you know, to the world. And I was, you know, it's something I'm really proud of, you know, because I feel like my look, my aesthetic, my aura, my light is a resemblance of all the work that I've put in, you know, away from the game. But because of the game, it taught me to do that, which I think is just so important for every athlete in their respective fields to learn the difference between who you are and what you do.
Yes. No, that's so beautiful. It's you're coming up from the ashes. No matter what shapes you in your life, it really does bring you to where you are now, good or bad. And that's such a beautiful representation of it, especially because with the lives like that we live so publicly, it's hard to sometimes know how you would normally be in a situation versus to the public. But like when you're protecting yourself, you really can you can keep that true to yourself. And I know you're speaking on the past, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I have no limitations on who I am. I'm like, baby, go for it. Like that's just where I'm at. You know, obviously I talk to God a lot and we have conversations about the places where, you know, I want to be. And I'm a firm believer, you know, he works, you know, ahead of time. You know, he's a God in advance. He works overtime, you know, to get to where it is that, you know, my path is destined to be. But I think that's where I'm living in right now is the beauty and the discovery of the unknown. Yeah. And knowing that wherever I'm supposed to be, I'll be right there. I'm right where I'm supposed to be right now. Absolutely. You know, and he has definitely placed me in rooms that I did not believe that my feet would enter. But I truly say that the sky is the limit. Absolutely. If there's anything that I want to do and that I know in the back of my mind, like, I want to tap into this area. I want to do this. I want to pursue this. Like, it's going to get done. The win is not my business, but I am going to win.
You're obviously going to win. Absolutely. And I mean, I heard that this past summer you were doing some things within Fashion Week. So is there anything in store for that? Are you just now tapping into it really? So what's your journey with the fashion?
Yeah, so I'm being heavily introduced into the fashion industry right now. It's a different transition, to say the least. I operate on a basketball schedule, so operating on a different type of timeline is new for me. But, you know, me being a driven person and my work ethic is definitely being able to discover the demands that it takes. Yes. You know, but I'm grateful that basketball has been able to, you know, introduce me to this field. But I'm excited to say that I have some really good stuff coming out. I'm just like a pop-out person. I don't really like talking about it. It's like, oh, she's not going to do this. Oh, she's done doing this. And it's just like, boom, there she is. And I told you she was going to do this. Like,
we just know to keep an eye out for you.
Yeah, you know. So I'm really excited when that time comes. And, you know, it will surely pass, to be able to, you know, share my journey of the introduction of my fashion, you know, industry moment.
Your position there, because you're definitely, there's a spot for you there, and you're finding out kind of what that is.
I never thought that I would do anything in my life other than play basketball. Really? That was like that was just what was embedded in my mind, you know, and as a little girl, that's all that mattered. Obviously, I love the game.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm finished, you know, I'm not ready to give up my shoes just yet. But at the same time, I am aware that there is going to be a time where I'm going to have to, and I want to be able to make the transition into other passions, you know, effectively.
Seamlessly, especially.
Absolutely. You know, I don't want to be able to be done with the game and then turn around and say, okay, what do I want to do now? Like, I thrive. I'm a Leo. I thrive working like 24/7. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm a Libra, but I don't know. I don't actually know the character traits of Libra, but always people get excited when they tell me, when I tell them I'm a Libra, and I get excited because I know Kylie Jenner is a Leo, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like all cool girls are a Leo, so that's why I was excited. That's what I know. Like, Leo is cool. But it's so crazy you mentioned that, because you're so smart for knowing what you want that transition to be, because I feel like so many people, when they realize they're done playing, when the ball stops rolling, they don't really know themselves. Like, you've attached so much of your identity to that schedule, to that uniform, to those shoes, to these deals, to this whole image of being an athlete. But like, you are a person behind that. But a lot of people, you lose that, because you kind of have to not truly lose yourself, but you have to focus on what is right in front of you, what's on your plate in the moment. And as a young person, you know, that's all we know how to do, is to adapt and overcome and learn that. But then you become older, and a lot other people, your friends maybe who aren't in the industry, they've found their things, they found their passion. You're like, okay, what's my passion now that I can't actively do it? You're like, what is me? And so that's awesome that you're doing that. Do you have any things? I know you don't want to say, you don't give out too much for the future. We want to watch. We're gonna follow you. But what about this past summer? Was there anything that you could share from this past summer that you enjoyed doing?
I enjoyed this summer. It was a fun summer.
Was it? Fashion Week was September, right?
Yeah, it was about a month ago.
Yeah.
That was it was a great experience for me. It definitely showed me at the level of demands of fashion.
Yeah.
I'm so humbly grateful that, you know, God has placed people in my life to be able to help navigate me during this transition. I have a hell of a team full of women, you know, that keep me level-headed and balanced. But then I also worked with Colin Carter, and I was completely colonized, like I like to call it, and being able to see myself in a different light every day. I was like a new character every day. And like with me, I feel like my fashion, my aesthetic is just so subtle. It's just so 90s. It's just so graceful. It's just like maybe timeless to others. I mean, timeless to me, boring to others, but it's like that's, you know, I'm comfortable in that. I'm comfortable with my regular blowouts, my bun, you know, my boots, my leather jackets. And then it's like, boom, we're popping out with a headscarf. We're putting this suit on. We're not wearing a shirt. And I'm just like,
you're like looking in the mirror, you're like, okay,
yeah,
I can do it for today.
You know, but being surrounded by people that are professionals and, you know this industry a lot better than I do, it would be, you know, inadequate of me to not be able to be a sponge and receive that. So I'm kind of open to seeing the depths of who I am in this fashion space and learning how to become comfortable in doing those, you know, as well, and understanding that I'm just her for the moment.
Yes.
You know,
it's so fun. You get to play a different character in a way when they put all the makeup, when they switch up like your visual of what you think yourself to be. It is so amazing. I have a friend of mine that just did a shoot, and I almost didn't recognize her at first because they had her in this really cool makeup and stuff. But I'm like, how amazing is it to like get to play a character? But like, I see the vision. It's art. It's living art. I love that. You know, okay. I mean, like, I like to dress a little athletic. I do dress up some days, but in the office, I'm a little more comfy with the Uggs and the Aloe, and I'm mixing brands with Lululemon. But I promise that I get the fashion.
We're gonna throw the brands out there. That's what we're gonna do for sure.
It's a little more comfortable. It's a little more comfortable today, but I'm loving the fit today. If you had unlimited funds, what store are you hitting first?
Chanel.
Or stores?
Chanel. Hermes, Cartier, Saint Laurent.
Yeah, because I see you got a little stack going on. Yeah.
Just a little. Saint Laurent, Victoria's Secret, I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
You know, but me, I like thrift shops. I'm really big in the old vintage, like Levi's and leather jackets and boots.
The stuff that's like good quality made that's lasted throughout the years.
I do pieces. I don't do wardrobes. You're never gonna see me looking like a mannequin over here.
Absolutely not. No fast fashion trends over here. We're doing timeless.
No.
We're doing classy. We're doing can wear it again in 30 years.
You will never see me on the Shade Room stole my look. You will never see that. No.
That is amazing.
I hope not.
Or like back in like when you were a kid, did you ever see those magazines that were like who wore it better?
No.
She will never be on one of those. You guys cannot recreate this. If you could trade closets with one person, who would it be?
I wouldn't.
Good for you.
I would not.
I would take all your closets.
I wouldn't. I don't think there's anyone out there that has the aesthetic that fits KYSRE.
What has been your favorite fit to date?
There's so many, honestly. But I would say the one that I felt the strongest, like, and confident in was the oversized men's suit, and I paired it with the Calvin Klein dress shirt and a Victoria's Secret bra.
Wait, I love a good oversized moment, but why that fit? Tell me why you loved that fit.
I just feel like it embodies where I'm at right now and who I am and my level of comfort. Like, I am obsessed with suits.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing, blazers. And I don't like a lot of tight fitted clothing. I like my clothes to kind of just lay on me. Mm-hmm. You know, I work really hard on my body, you know. So, you know, of course, you know, I want to show it off every now and then. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, I'm going for the oversized look. You know, it's about being comfortable and, you know, quality over, you know, quantity.
Absolutely. If I can't sit comfortably in it, if it's that tight, I'm not wearing it.
I like that look a lot, though. I styled that myself, and I was kind of surprised how it came out. My mom told me, she was like, throw a red lip with it. That is my grandfather's suit. I went in their closets and like duffed all their stuff. Like, gosh. I have like old, you know, 1960s, 70s Ralph Lauren suits. You know, So
you went thrifting in your own grandparents' closet.
You know? Absolutely. So maybe if I had all the money in the world, that's where I would go to first, even though it's priceless. But needless to say, that's where that look came from. But then I was like, I want it to be sexy. So I put a bra, and then I popped it with the white heel. Yeah. The white Kelly.
The white button-up, though, really solidifies it. Like, that's where you can really see the layering that you've done. It's so good. I know the white Kelly, girl.
I don't know who I thought I was when I put this on. I didn't know it was going to turn out like this, but I think this was when everyone saw me and they're like, holy shit.
No, you popped off with
it
this
It was a video for me too, the walk.
Yes.
The walking with it.
Like I just laughed. Walk.
I laughed at myself. I'm like, KYSRE, who do you think you are?
It's always like imposter syndrome a little bit sometimes. Yeah. Or at least that's how I feel when I go a little different than my normal style. I'm like, who is she? Yeah. But this is definitely a fit that if I was you, I would definitely look in the mirror and be like, I'm her. Like, that's me. Like, I love, you're serving in this photo too. You are serving with the one hand in the pocket.
Oh, the photographers walking into the game, they were terrible. Every single time when I came walking into the game, stop. It was like a mini photo shoot. Yeah. They hyped me up more than myself.
Kai, we're going to have you rate some of your walk-in fits. So we'll start with this one here.
This is who I am. When I put that, 10 for sure. Just because the way I felt. It's funny when I came out with this look, they were like, she looks like a preacher's wife. I'm like, I go to church though, baby. So that's fine with me. It was a turtleneck and the stockings.
I love this. Yeah. I love this. And then the bag. This is the Chanel fit. This is the Chanel fit you guys were talking about. Okay, Slay. We're doing a 10 because this feels like you. Let's go with this one.
Very subtle. Yes. Me on it every day. I didn't feel like dressing up. So, again.
This is not dressing up?
No. It was like men t-shirt. Yeah. What do you call them? Jorts.
Jorts are having a revival. The long
I love
jort.
It. Yeah. This is just a classic. I'm headed to work.
This is like casual. This is I'm going to work.
I would give it 7.
This is 7. I love this. I like the way you casually like give like titles. This one, you're like preacher's wife. This one's I'm just casually going to work. This is totally me casually also going to work. Yes. Let's rate this one. You love a good suit.
This is the Ralph Lauren suit I was talking about.
I love it.
This is giving running for president.
Absolutely it is.
Miss Madam President.
Would you run for president?
I think I have it in my bag.
I think you definitely have it in
Yeah.
your bag. I think you could definitely run a country. And you got the red, is that a red nail? I mean,
Yeah.
this is all perfect. The hair, everything is effortless in this.
I give this one an 8.
This one gets an 8.
Yeah.
Presidential. Let's go her.
I love her.
I love her too.
This look literally took me all of maybe 3 minutes to pull out the closet. Because I was like, we were on the road. And I was like, I don't feel like getting dressed up.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to wear what I normally wear.
This reminds me of the second fit. It's the same sort of idea with the button up, but now we did a tuck in.
Yeah.
We did a tuck in.
I'm always going to tuck in my shirts, you know, tuck in the blouse. But then I went completely barefaced on this look. I was just like, yeah, I'm just.
This is you with no makeup.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
Skin routine now. Hello. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wearing the SPF every day. Girl.
This was Annalena Jolie kind of vibe.
I love this. Did we rate this already? Did you give it a number?
I give this one a 7.5. A
7.5. We're getting specific.
But I feel a 10.
I'm going to give it a 10 because natural beauty. Let's rate her.
This
got a little cutout moment.
This is hilarious.
Why? Tell me why.
This look, the walking video, everything that came in with this aesthetic. This is I forgot. I think I had my best friend. She told me, she's like, stop dressing, you know, like a grandma.
No.
She was like, show some skin. So I was like, all right.
So this is your friend's version of a non-grandma moment.
Yeah, so I looked in my closet and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pop out.
Yes.
And this was a bodysuit, it was a Mugler bodysuit and a skirt. And I paired it together and everyone thought it was a dress.
It does look like a dress.
Yeah. And I did a closed toe, always wearing the Louboutins. Always.
I love lubes.
Oh.
So good.
I got on the boots right now.
I clocked that right away.
Yeah, this was a fun look. And that's the thing about, you know, like I said, about the way that I want to carry myself. When I do decide to do something like this, it's like, ooh. Yeah.
It's like, it's not seen as often. So then it's like more of like a step out. Mm-hmm. It's like more of a slay. So what do you rate her?
I give her a 9.
I love her. I love all of these. Because I'm always in sweatpants. So I'm like, I need to start taking some notes here. So we give her a 9.
I give her a 9.
And then we got her. This is kind of a rendition. I mean, this is like your classic style.
This is me every day. Every day. I say a 7.5, but I feel a 10.
I feel a 10.
Always.
The comfy sneaker with the white Kelly is just giving like I do this every single second of my life. Like you woke up in this outfit.
Basically.
I love the jeans. I love a good blue jean. It just like, this is like walking around New York City fit. This is the perfect New York fit.
I feel like home when I wear clothes like this.
Yes. Oh, I'm obsessed. So we gave her a 10?
Like 7.5.
7. Oh, you 7.5?
But I feel a 10.
You feel a 10.
I feel like a 10.
Intrinsically a 10.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell I was doing here.
What? This is my favorite one.
I have no idea. I think this was my look that I did with League Fits. And my mom, besides myself, she was the one that was, you know, had some type of input, you know, on styling me. And so she, you know, she shops all day at like thrift stores. She has the patience to do that.
Yeah.
And so she found these shorts for me. And she was calling me nonstop about, when are you going to wear the shorts? When are you going to wear the shorts?
Oh, my goodness.
And I just didn't know how to wear them yet.
You're waiting for the time to figure it out.
I did. And so I thought I'd surprise her when I did the partnership with League Fits. And I threw on the shorts. And I was like, to break down how I got this look, I'm always like, okay, I'm a stocking girl. Mm-hmm. So I hit the stockings. I love black. I don't know what I was doing here, to be honest with you.
No, I'm here for this. But
do
like what? Do you remember when this was?
This was when we played Indiana at home.
Do you remember what month this was? In what year? Was it?
This past year. It was, I want to say June.
So you were in style here because everyone got on the stocking craze, but like just this year. Like, everyone just understood it this year, but you said you've been a stocking girl.
I have.
So, like, you are ahead of the time here with this, because so many girls just discovered the beauty of the short and the stocking, including me over here, except I keep ripping them. So I have to buy them every
Oh,
like,
no,
5 seconds.
they're no joke. Yeah.
They're no joke. Like, I don't know. I could never be a flight attendant. But we got the blazer and we got the little black bra on going on. I like her. What do we rate her?
I was about to say, what would you rate her? I don't know.
I'm going to rate this one a 9.5, only because I love the sparkly shorts and the stocking. I love a good shorts and stocking. Also, we got like a little ab popping out. We got little abs.
Oh,
like,
yeah, you know, you got to show the world we do Pilates over here.
We do Pilates over here. We are hitting the reformer, folks. I'm going to give her a 9.5.
I'll second that.
Yay! And then I think that was the last one. Let's get back on track. When do you feel you're most beautiful?
Every day.
Oh.
No, like, I don't mean to sound like a simp, but like, no, every day. Like, again, knowing that I get the opportunity to be able to dive into the depths of the transformation of my womanhood. Mm-hmm. Like, I just feel beautiful in knowing that I get to become the highest and greatest version of myself on a daily basis. And knowing that I'm in the journey of that discovery makes me feel gorgeous, honestly.
And we're growing every single day.
That's where it's beautiful, when you're growing, you
Yes.
know, and seeing the grace that I have now and how I think and my thought process, how I don't react and how I make decisions. And I'm like, KYSRE, I'm blown away by me right now.
Oh,
Humbly. No, I am, you know, and it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to feel when you're growing. So every day.
That's amazing. I hope a lot of women watch this and take from you, because I really don't feel that I talk too much on, you know, womanhood on here. There's a lot of, you know, I guess male audience fans from like the overtime content, but I never really get to discuss this type of stuff. So I'm so thankful that I had you on to talk about it, because it really is something that like I'm going through as well. So I relate to all the things that you're saying. And even though I'm not too open about it, I feel the same way. It's like, as you get older, you really start to learn how to handle life with grace, and you start to become the woman that you really wanted to be.
And it's so sexy.
It's so sexy.
Even in sweatpants.
Like, thank you. I'm going to go for a run after this. That's why I was like, but it's so seamless. And yet I look back and it almost feels like I've lived multiple lifetimes. And I'm finally in the lifetime that I can be proud of. And I'm sure you are as well, because you're just so confident in this journey that you're going through. And like I said, I hope a lot of girls watch this and learn something from Kai, or learn a million things like I did today. But I was so happy to have you on today. You were a beautiful guest. You had some amazing things to say. Actually, everything was amazing and touching and heartfelt. Would you like to, again, shout out your social medias where people can follow you, and make sure you guys keep in touch with her, because we got some things going on, some things in the works.
Y'all stay tuned. I will try my best to socially engage with my fan base a little bit more. But no, it's never, you know, unintentional. Yes. But I'm excited. I'm excited to keep you guys tapped in and to share, and to know that people want to watch. So hopefully I'm fun to explore.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on Meg on the Mic, and I hope you had fun.
Thank you so much.